Hello ladies and gentlemen, we're back for another race, this time F2 at Monaco, a bit of a special one today. But first, introductions. It's Ocean Chief on the voice comms alongside Boosted Mess. So I'm filling in for Eversnacks this week, so keep me right, Boosted.
Yep, I'll I'll certainly do my best to, and good afternoon or good evening, everybody.
So what have we
Yeah,
got in
buckle up.
store today is full qualifying, so it's a half an hour qualifying session. So I was about to say no one out on track yet, but Bailey Thompson, the first guy out there, on soft tires. So I think we'll probably see a lot of these guys go out on the softer tire company. It's a harder tire company of the two. You can see a lot of super soft selected there with the guys in the garage, but yeah, probably an idea would be to go out on these softs and just get warmed up, get a feel for the track. It is Monaco, so you need to really dial into this one. But I think while we're watching Billy go around the track here for the first time, I'll bring up the driver's standings, and we were chatting about these a little bit just before we started the stream. Yeah, Pretorius out front there by quite a margin, 22 points over Icewind. McKenna then is P3, or sorry, yeah, McKenna is P3, Isboy P4, Dragon Legend P5 and P6 in the Universo, I believe that is. Actually, is it? Yeah, I can't read the writing on the screen there, but I think Dragon's in the Universo. I don't know if Dragon's actually going to be in this session. He is in this session. I'm getting mixed up. Sorry. Legend isn't in this session, but he might join during quali, hopefully. And then making up the rest of the top 10. D Sahinatus, who also isn't here today. Futuristic, who is Crystals P9, Zyken then P10. So, and I'm seeing a back row out on a wet hot lap. Outlap, sorry. What's going on here?
Yeah, so he is. This is maybe they're expecting rain, perhaps. He's
Yeah.
taking it very slowly around the chicane,
Yeah.
and very gingerly around the next corner after that. So yeah,
I know the
maybe
esports guys, they like to go out on the inters, and apparently it lays a bit more rubber on the track, but I don't think back row's going to be laying much rubber down at this speed. He seems to be just ticking along like he's almost run out of fuel or something.
causing a bit of a yellow flag on the entrance to the tunnel there. That probably to let the faster car through of Larson, I think that was.
Yeah, futuristic as well out on those wet tires. So I think maybe that is a bit of esports tactics there. But I've got the team's championship standings on screen as well. So we've got BMW HWA Race Lab, 126 points. So that is McKenna and Icewind, the Finnish contingent in the F2. Followed by Dams, 119, not far behind, and then Universo. There's quite a gap to Universo. How do you say that? Is it Virtuoso?
Univirtuoso? I have no idea.
We'll just call
I'm
him
not gonna lie.
Yeah, 66 points for them, and then Art is P4, Carling P5, 36 points. So there is a chance for P3, but P1 and P2 look to be contesting for the championship lead on this one. And I think Prey, he's in the Dams, isn't he? Who's his teammate in this? Is it Joel?
Prey is racing with Joel today, yeah.
Okay, so...
I say today, Prey's been racing with Joel for a while, I think. Yeah, Pretorius also sat with his wet tyres on. He's in the pit lane at the minute. So far we've had two guys pumping in quali laps. Pemi's provisional pole at the minute with a 119.7. Billy Thompson 1/10 behind with a 119.8.
Yeah, I've only 3 other drivers out on track, and 2 of those have those wet tires on. So, following 2SRL Larson at the moment as he makes his way through Sector 3. And I have to say, these guys... Oh, there is Legend joining, so we've got 15 drivers for this one. That's good to see. But yeah, I was going to say that, I mean, this track in an F1 car is nuts. And an F2 car, I think I've raced it in an F2 car, and I think I remember it being quite hairy out there. Obviously the braking points are different, and the acceleration in these F2 cars can be a wee bit dicey at times. So fair play to these guys for showing up today, and looking forward to seeing who can put it on pole here in this qualifying session. Pemi currently P1. Larson, he puts a 121 on the board, so plenty of improvement to be made on that one. But Pemi, of course, on those super softs, so that is a lap to beat at the minute. I'd say Billy Thompson on those softs, not far off Pemi's time, so he shows some good promise. Back row with a 136.9 on the wets. Yeah, and so he actually did a time lap on those wets. I thought he might have came in after that out lap, but no.
Yeah, decides to go for it, makes the time stick. Maybe that's his banker lap, perhaps. See if he's able to improve on that.
Oh,
It's worth mentioning we didn't have Bailey racing with us for the last couple of F2 races.
Oh, that's right,
He dropped out, so it's actually quite nice to see him back again to take part in this feature race today.
Yeah, I think he won the first couple of races, didn't he? And then he just had a few bad experiences and was like, nah, I'm out. So yeah, it is good to see him back in. And I'm seeing Pretorius as well on these wet tires, so I think it is one of these esports tactics where you know, the track obviously rubbers in more as the qualifying session ticks over, and wet tires, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong or if you know any different, but I think the idea is they lay down more rubber on the track, so when you do those later quality laps, it should benefit you, but of course it benefits everybody, is the only thing.
Yep, of course it's a way for them to I guess prepare the track for the very end of the qualifying, when it's going to be at its most rubbered in state, and when you would expect to see the fastest lap times appearing on the timing tower. Yeah, interesting tactics. It's not something I've ever seen before, but yeah, I'm curious to see how this helps everybody.
Yeah, Icewind in chat screaming at me that I have his standings on. It was intentional. Don't worry, it was intentional. I was getting.
We were discussing them, to be fair.
Yeah. Just took us a while. But let's see who else is out there. I see X Crystals puts a time on the board, 21.8 for him on the super sauce. He's currently heading right now, so I'm going to join him and go on board. Oh, bit of a tank slapper moment there. Back end tried to get away as he went through whatever that corner was called. I should know these corners. I did a lot of GeoGuessr on this track. There's one of them called Casino, I think, in there.
That's where Scorto is currently making his way around now, followed closely by, I think that was Ace Boy, was it? No, I'm talking rubbish.
I'm looking at Scorto's helmet right now. It looks pretty cool, actually. Nebula design. Yeah, but I mean, like we were saying earlier, the handling on these cars is so much different. They just feel a bit heavier, a bit more clunky, and the back end always wants to escape you. And you can see Scorto just trying to tame the beast here. He's struggling a little bit with this car, it seems, under these conditions. But does have a 23.1 on the board, so he does have a banker lap in as he heads into the pits.
Yeah, it's I always say when we start these F2 races, the cars to drive feel very I guess laggy in comparison to the F1 cars. So acceleration is obviously slower, your braking distance are considerably longer, your turning is a bit less responsive, and then add to that the fact that the sort of power delivery is somehow a bit harsher than in F1, in the sense that you can be on the throttle in what you perceive to be quite a gradual increase of throttle, and then from out of nowhere you get this power surge, and it's very easy to spin out when that happens. But yeah, hats off to these guys for making it around this tight track in one piece.
Yeah, on board with Legend right now as he heads through Sector 1. And wanted to run close to the wall there, but almost too close there as the car kind of got twitchy under the acceleration. But down to, is this, what do you call this, Hotel Hairpin? Casino Hairpin? I should really have researched this.
I'm way better at this than you are. Oh, Legends around.
Yeah. And resets the track in quali. I don't know if Or we're gonna.
Yeah.
How long's this guy been
We'll
racing?
pretend we didn't see that.
Yeah, I heard one of the guys saying, "Are you allowed to track reset?" I mean, it is a bit of a unique track, Monaco. If you get stuck, it can be quite hard to, turn the car around at some point. So maybe it can be overlooked in certain circumstances, but that was not one of them. Won't gain anything from it. Does have front wing damage, and his lap isn't validated anyway, so we'll be heading into the pits. Sorry, go ahead.
I wonder if I was going to say, I wonder if any of the crew chiefs or perhaps the drivers themselves who aren't currently driving could give us an indication on the weather report, because it does look cloudy at the minute. It's tricky to get a good look at the sky, but yeah, it's looking a bit dark and a bit sort of glum somehow.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting? Like, a lot of drivers not on track, so they're wanting to leave it as late as possible, but really it benefits everybody if everybody's on track and laying that rubber down.
Bailey coming in there and saying it is going to be dry, we think. So predicted dry race all sessions. Okay. Just cloudy then at the minute.
Yeah, I think that's good. These guys got enough to contend with here. It is pretty harrowing experience in Monaco sometimes. Obviously, the braver you can be, the faster your lap time will be, but the danger increases. You could clip a wall, and that's going to cost you a lot of time, as you'll have to pit then. As Zyken on board with him at the minute, he is crossing the start-finish line to start his first time run. He is a fast boy in Tier 4, usually in F1. Let's see how he does. Cuts the turn 1 nicely there, and heading up the hill. This part here I find really tricky, even in an F1 car. Just trying to trail brake into that corner and then feather on the throttle. Run quite close to the wall, but this one as well catches a lot of people out. I always go to neutral in this corner, and that's not the gear that you want to be in.
It's funny how that kind of it sends you understeering further out when you go into neutral.
Yeah,
it's something I would find interesting.
It is not good at all, not good at all. But as it looks like it's a pretty tidy lap from him. He is on the softer tire, or the soft tire compound. For the chicane there, that's going to be quite a dicey one. That's going to be tricky under race conditions as well. If you have a bunch of guys behind you, might be an overtaking spot there. There's not that many overtaking spots on this track, and see as Zyken's gone purple in sector 2. I don't know if that's an actual purple sector time, but we'll see here as he makes his way for the final 2 corners. Gets on the par as early as possible, rides close to the pit wall, and cross start finish line. Puts himself P3, so 20.6 on soft, not bad from Zyken.
Doing very well indeed so far. Iceman's complaining of a bit of choppiness on the stream. Doesn't seem too bad to me, but yeah, we'll keep an eye on that.
That's a bit disappointing, yeah, because I've upgraded my internet settings. Hoping it would be a nice smooth stream, but obviously some issues to still iron out. Hopefully it's not like that whole stream. I have to make a pause between the quali and the race here, as Legend now is making his way, almost clipping the wall there in the penultimate corner. He's really throwing this car around this track, and that's going to be dicey, but if anyone can manage to thread the needle, it's going to be Legend. We know he's a rapid racer, and running very close to the wall on the exit of turn 1 there. Up the hill again we go.
Interesting to see the range of line through this section that Legend's coming through now, coming down the hill. So Legend avoiding that bump on the left there, but some drivers choose to just drive straight over the top of it, deciding that it doesn't make enough of a difference to their lap time. He just squeezes his way past one of the slower runners there and enters the tunnel.
Missing the wall this time around, so this is still a foul lap. He still got his front wing intact, which is good news for Legend. Heading down to the, I think it's the Nouvelle chicane. It's still coming back to me a wee bit. Makes a big cut there and gets on the par as early as possible. And I think this is to back corner coming up. It's an interesting corner, isn't it? You have to really throw the car in. It's like you can so easily clip the front wing on the exit. and through sector 3 pretty fast, looking from Legend, but penultimate corner gets it all wrong. Is that going to cost him a lot of time? We're going to see.
Big slide to get onto the start finish straight.
Yeah, he's just struggling to keep
and goes
control,
into pole.
Yeah, I was going to say, scruffy laps often look pretty, well, I wouldn't say pretty slow, but you don't think they're going to be pole, and then, yep, cross the line, purple lap for
Softs as
Legend.
well, so removes Pemi from that provisional pole, and Pemi set his time on super softs. I think there's now two 100ths of a second between Legend and Pemi. So yeah, good, really good effort there from Legend.
Yeah, and I wonder if that bug is going to take effect, you know, when you join qualifying late and put you to back then. You know, in F1 that'll happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That will... hopefully not. Yeah, that wouldn't be ideal.
So currently
we will see.
P1, Pemi P2. Pretorius out there, he's doing a couple of laps on these stuff, so purple second sector for Pretorius. He's got his teammate ahead of him, Joel on an out lap, so I'm thinking that they're not going to get much slipstream or opportunity for a slipstream, and as you can see Joel pulling out of the way there, probably getting on par through the tunnel section. Chicane, and probably the part I struggle hardest with the chicane, and then into the sector 3, because sector 3 is probably the fastest part of this track. You can really gain a lot of time there, but you can lose a lot as well if you're too tentative. And it's all about getting the right line and making the right cuts. So easy to invalidate there. And then just slowing down nicely. Oh, and it looked like he actually touched the barrier there on the penultimate corner on the entry. And then on the exit also, crosses the line and does improve. It goes to P2.
Oh, hello. Backroad just jumps into the lead as well.
Oh.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, I think this track is starting to come to the drivers. He's set that on super soft, but race time was on soft, it's same as Legend, so I think this track is starting to come to the drivers.
Getting to the closing stages of qualifying now, just over 10 minutes remaining now. So those that haven't been out yet or haven't set a valid time yet, so Joel, Dragon McKenna and Icewind, they'll be looking to get out on track fairly soon. Just trying to see, I don't think we've got anybody currently on a hot lap. Or do we? No, we do have Joel currently making his way around. He's on the super soft tyre, so we'll see what he can manage. Just feeds his way around into the beginning of sector 3 round to back. It's quite a rewarding corner when you do get it right, and then it actually lends itself quite nicely to the next couple of chicanes. It's quite a flowing section of the track, really enjoyable. Comes into the final corner here now. Moves around cleanly, a little kick out on the rear tyres there around the final little chicane, and onto the start finish straight. DRS is open. I'm going to cross the line, and he puts it in 6th.
Still a lot of drivers in the pits, so we're entering this last 10 minutes of qualifying. Again, might have that quali bug where the drivers actually have a bit more time than we see on the screen, but it's going to be roughly around 10 minutes at the minute. And it looks like Joel might be continuing on with this run here. He looks like he's still on it. Wonder if he can make any improvements here. He's kind of going through sector 2. Just and there's a yellow flag in sector 2 as it's Pemi pulling over, allowing Joel to go through cleanly without getting held up.
Bailey's back out on his outlap as well now, so we can expect to see some faster times being pumped in now.
Most drivers now opting for the super soft, and Joel is on an improved lap here on his second run here. 0.285 up. Is he going to be able to get through the last sector here without any issues? For the last corner, back on the par again. It's so easy for that back end to kick out there, but he managed to control it, and he does indeed improve to P2. So 119.5. So it looks like doing a few runs on these tires is paying off for these guys.
Quite an incredibly close grid then. Top 6 separated by less than half a second. Everybody outside the top 6, I suspect, will still be going quite a bit quicker yet. Those are all mostly banker laps that you see on the timing tower there. So yeah, very close grid I think today.
I've got McKender and Icewind out on the pink cars, the BWTs. Let's see what those guys are going to do. I'm sure they're going to be around the top end of the grid. Dragon as well, once he gets the time on the board, but he's currently sitting in the pits. And back row in chat is saying he thinks people are just saving tires to the end, so they'll probably go out about 2-3 minutes left. But yeah, that's a bit of a risky strategy. I mean,
you really want to have at least one banker in at that point already. I mean, if you have a valid lap time already, then yes, that's fair enough to try out as a strategy. But as you say, very, very risky when you don't actually have a time on the board yet. So yeah, Icewind is on an out lap. To be fair, McKender is currently on a hot lap, so we'll see where they pop in shortly. In fact, I think McKender is not far away from the start finish straight now. Comes around the final corner into the last little kink. Over the DRS line, making his way down the start finish straight now. Crosses line into 7th. So, sticks himself right in the middle of the grid there. A little bit off the top 6 there. I would imagine he'll be trying to go in for another lap once he gets pitted for a fresh set of tyres perhaps.
Bailey Thompson goes first. He's the first guy in the 18 side, 18.6. Or is
By a
it?
huge margin, my goodness.
Yeah, and I think Bailey, is that Joel as well at P2, so he's dethroned back row as well, so shopping and changing at the top here. Let's see who else is about to cross the line. Is it X Crystals? Yeah, X Crystals is making his way for the final 2 corners. It's a nice run for that final corner, back on the par early again, and let's see what he's got. P8 currently, and does not improve, so surprising to see from X Crystal. He's one of the faster guys in the F1 series. I wonder if this is taking him a bit of time just to get used to these, used to this track and this car.
Yeah, I would expect him to improve in the later stages of qualifying. He is one of the, as you say, one of the quicker guys in the F2 season. Even he's had some mixed results, but those where he performs well, he tends to perform very well. So.
Icewind about to cross the line here. He's just for the penultimate corner. Let's see what he's got. This is going to be his first timed run, and it's P4, 119.4, so looking good for him, and he just sends it around turn 1 there with absolute confidence.
Some serious slip angle there.
Yeah. I was crew chiefing him earlier in the race, and he says he can't go slow, he can't take it easy, so you see him picking up penalties in some races. He just doesn't have a slow mode in him.
It was tricky to pick up penalties on this track today with how tight it is and how close the walls are. You're more likely to pick up damage instead. So yeah, it's a tricky one. I'm looking forward to seeing the race just to see how tight some of the racing is going to be. But Icewind still seems to be on it.
Yeah, he does indeed. Yeah, I'm just looking at sector 2 time, seeing if we can get a split coming up. I think it's coming up in. Oh, and he invalidates.
Oh, and invalid. Yeah.
Pushing.
That's an easy spot to do it there as well. You have to cut it so fine as well in order to get a quick time there. You're almost forced to take that risk. Unfortunately, not paying off on this occasion.
Back row up at the start of lap. So we're seeing a lot of the drive, over half the field now out on track. Only 5 guys in the pits. Dragon's one of them, which is surprising given that he hasn't got a time on the board yet. You often see this with Dragon. He likes to start at the back for some reason, and then he's either gets himself into bother or he has a pretty good race, like driver of the day performance, because of the number of the positions he makes up.
I think I'm half a lap late with this call, but Pretorius manages to sneak it into 2nd position there, the 2nd man into the 18s.
Yeah.
Also seems to be pushing actually at the minute with a big lock up there. That's the end of that lap, I think.
Yeah, that's not going to be good for the Delta. But yeah, yeah, in Legend there goes P2. Dismissed that there, but he has put himself up there 118.7, so just behind Bailey Thompson. But Bailey Thompson is the man to beat right now, and he is on a lap as he swings it into the hairpin, and he's slightly done his time. And I think that losing the back end and the hairpin there might cost him a bit of time as well, so might not be able to improve on this lap. Pretorius crossing the line there, wasn't able to improve on that lap as we saw, but he absolutely sends it into turn 1, just like Icewind. Massive cut on turn 1 as is allowed. You want to do that, they just get the best exit and run up the hill, and it will save you a lot of delta time. And Joel, am I looking at this right? Is Joel... No, he set that time on Super Softs. Yeah, so
Yeah.
the top 10 are all Super Softs apart from a Zyken.
Dragon finally deciding now is the time to pull the trigger and get out on the track, so we'll be watching him closely to see how he does. He'll have one shot at this, I think. I'm not sure he'll have time to... Well, no, I lie. He might be able to do 2 laps back to back, I suppose, if he feels he's made a mess of his first lap. But yeah, we'll see how this goes for him.
And Joel is out on this soft tower compound, so...
And Legend takes the pole.
Ooh, nice, nice, nice. So he's getting
by another
18.2.
Yep,
Wow.
2/10 ahead of Bailey, so
Bailey...
will Bailey come back out and respond?
Yeah, he needs to get out quick. What's the lap time here? 1:18 should be fine. Sometimes the pit crew can take a bit of a while getting you out again, which is frustrating. But I think he's going to be able to get out with enough time for at least one run.
And Ace Boy manages to jump up to 11th position there, so a small improvement from him as well.
And you know what's surprising as well? In F1, obviously, you would do like you don't want to do many laps on your quali runs to save them for the race. But I'm looking at this right now, and I'm seeing like 2 laps, 3 laps, 4 laps.
Oh, Dragon has damage. Wow, sorry to cut you up there, but he came. I did notice the yellow in the final corner. I thought it was just Dragon going slowly in order to set himself up for his hot lap here, but I think he must have actually tapped the wall. He's now having to do his hot lap with a right end plate missing.
Yeah, he's compromised his strat big time there, but he is still on it here, so he's probably thinking I might be able to get some positions at least, but that is going to cost him majorly.
Of course, no time to come in and repair that either. So this has gone very wrong for him. This is why it's worth sticking in a banker lap first, I think, before risking it to the end there.
Bailey Thompson retiring there. I don't know if you saw that, boosted, but that means he is not going to get a chance for another run at pole. So Legend currently on P1, but we have pretty much all drivers but 5 out on track at the minute. And Dragon making his way through these penultimate corners with this front wing damage, and does clip the wall there again, but I mean the damage has already been done to his front wing. Let's see what he's got here. He probably will get a few positions here as he crosses the line. Yeah, P11, not great from him. Starting
Kender and Icewind both deciding that that's their session's over, so Hemi as well now. Dragon still feels like he's on it, so I suspect he'll be going for another lap here. He kind of has to, as Crystals calls it a session there as well.
Watching Legend right now. I don't know if he is on a run. No, he definitely isn't. He's 8.6 down on his time. Prey is down in his time as well. Back row P4 currently. Is he on a lap? Looks like he is. He has down to the Nouvelle Chicane. Cuts it quite nicely there. That heavy braking zone is very, very tricky, I imagine, in these F2 cars. Let's see, he's got a sector time up for sector 2. He's slightly down on his time, and there's front wing damage. I didn't see the contact there, but I saw a bit of front wing flying off his car, so I don't think it's going to be improving unless he's able to... No, he sends it into the pits.
Back row pitting, Zyken pitting there as well. Joel also pitting. That just leaves Dragon, who, yeah, after cutting the Cavona Summit, also pits. This is your starting grid for the feature race today. We'll have Legend will be starting on pole. He has a 2/10 lead to Bailey Thompson, who starts in second. Pretorius just 1/10 behind in third position, followed by back row. There's a 4/10 gap between those two, so top three quite close, small gap then between third and fourth. Makenda starts fifth, that's a very tight gap to back row there. Joel starts in sixth, followed by Icewind, Pemi, Azikin, Crystals, Dragon, Aceboy, Futuristic, Larson, and Scotto rounds out the top grid there. I think we do have a few other guys that have joined during quali there, which will jump into the back, do they? Or was that just a bug I saw?
Yeah, I think that's the AI drivers they just put in at the end.
Okay, I literally just missed that. So it literally just flashed up on screen and disappeared there. I thought, huh? Another 4 guys are in, but no. So we have a 15-car grid today.
Yeah, and it's kind of tight between the top 3, and then there's a bit of a gap back to P4 to P4, P5, 0.7 off pole, and then the gaps vary there, heading backwards. But I mean, it's going to be there's 2 races that feature in the sprint, so there's 2 opportunities for drivers to get a bunch of points and do well. I often use the feature race as a bit of a warm up for the sprint race. But I'm sure drivers like Prey, Icewind, both running pretty high in the championship alongside Mikander. I'm sure they're thinking. Well, I was speaking to Icewind actually earlier today. He's not confident at all. He thinks he's going to send it in the wall in lap 1, but we know that Icewind usually does.
Yeah, we hear that quite a lot from Icewind,
Yeah,
and
and then
he pulls out an amazing finish. Yeah, so yeah, it's not to be underestimated at all, is Icewind. So yeah, countdown timer has begun to the feature race. We will see how the drivers fare with this track. I'm actually quite excited for this one. F2 races are usually quite action-packed, and yeah, adding a complex and tight track such as Monaco to the mix just makes it even more so.
Yeah, track conditions are. It's really going to test these guys. F2 cars, like I say, most experience everyone has is the F1 cars on this track, but F2 cars, they're very enjoyable to drive, but they can be a handful. And when you've got walls all around you, you cannot afford to make any mistakes, because front wing damage at this track is going to compromise your overall race time. And race position really here is a lot. I mean, even with a small bit of front wing damage, you should be able to hold off the guys behind. So we're going to see some interesting strategies, I think, throughout this race. There is going to be a 1 mandatory pit stop in this feature race. We've got 21
quite
laps.
a mix of strategy as well. Looks like we've almost got a 50-50 split between soft runners and super soft runners. So yeah, going to be interested to see how this goes. So Legend and Bailey both opting for the soft tyre to start the race with. Pretorius is on the super soft, which means he's going to want to try and clear these 2 guys as quick as he can to try and give himself the best advantage he can. Dragon gets himself disqualified on the formation lap. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but yeah, he will have to wait on the start grid for the rest of the grid to come back around and meet him there. Not ideal. Cold tyres on the start is not what you want.
Yep, not a good sign for him for the race, but yeah, it's a long race. 21 laps actually, the feature race. Extra.
Christos decides to join him on the grid as well there, so
dare I say it, boosted. Dare I say it.
So Legend takes us around the final corner. He will start to, well, he should really be starting to bunch the rest of the grid up, but kind of hasn't. So he'll be parking it for a little while before everybody else manages to get caught up. Goes his way to the front of the grid here.
And this is going to be super interesting. I mean, that run down to the first corner, you got Legend. We know how fast he can be, but Bailey Thompson winning the first F2 races of this season with Prey, the championship leader, behind, and we've got the likes of Mikander, Icewind hanging out there. Back row is a bit unknown to me, but he's obviously a fast guy at this track. Boosted.
Yep, so here we go now. Lights are coming on now. We've got 5 lights on. Everybody's ready to go here now. Lights are off and we're away straight off the bat. No lag to do, which is brilliant. Bailey's had a wonderful start. He's already passed Legend into the first corner here. Throws it down the inside. The Legend's not giving up though. He's still pushing. Somebody's ghosted just behind him there. I think that's Joel.
Prey is ghosted,
Is it Joel? Yep, 3. Okay, so 3 of them leading up to the top of the hill here. Legend is all over the back of Bailey, who's taking it quite conservatively around these corners. Making sure not to give that position back up again as they make their way down the hill into the first tight section of the track. It looks like everybody got through nice and cleanly there, which is excellent as well. Skolto's managed to drop down to the back there, so maybe we had a slight issue there. Everybody else doing well. We have a yellow flag in the hairpin. I'm not sure who that is. I'm not going to check just now either. I'm going to keep an eye on this battle for the lead here as Bailey, Legend and Pretorius make their way through the tunnel now. Bailey has managed to pull a bit of a gap. Legend is under quite a bit of pressure from Pretorius. Just behind that we've got back row Makender fighting very hard coming into Tapak now. But so far so good, pretty clean. There's some changing of position going on at the back there. I think that was Pemi managing to squeeze past his Icon.
McKender's right on the back row, but as is the nature of this track, he just cannot get past here, and he's going to have to choose his spot wisely. But I imagine an F2 car is going to be even harder to get past them in the start-finish rate, even with DRS.
Yeah, I think most drivers will probably try and stay calm and wait for DRS to be activated and hope that that will help them get past the guy in front.
Yeah, these guys in super softs, they're looking to get the move on early, make the most out of these super soft tires. But yeah, McKender getting a back end swinging out there for a critical part of the corner, managed to save it. But yeah, he is harassing back row, and he's got, I can see Icewind harassing Joel in the background there as well.
Victorious as well, all over the back of Legend. At the minute, there's a yellow flag further down the back. That's Larson.
That's Larson, yeah.
He's had a moment back there. It doesn't look like he has any damage, so he gets away with that one.
Yeah, surprisingly no damage yet, but we will see it throughout this race. I'm absolutely sure of it. Oh, and Dragon is right on the back of his boys as we go through the tunnel here.
There's a big slide there from Legend coming out of the chicane there. That's allowed Pretorius to close right back up again.
Oh, sorry, Dragon is down the inside through Neville chicane there, and that was very dicey there from Dragon. Very brave, managed to get past there. So Ace Boy's down to P12. Dragon on the move, it seems.
Yeah, he's not hanging around today, is he? Just watching now, I think we should have DRS enabled. Yep, there it is. DRS is now enabled. So we may see some more moves going on very soon.
Yeah, this lead pack are starting to make a bit of a breakaway from back row and those soft tire compound. 1.8 is a gap from P3 to P4, but look at this. Pere is almost pushing Legend through this corner, and the Legend is on the back of Billy Thompson here, so this has turned out to be quite a race here from the top three guys.
Pretorius doing everything he can to just keep that pressure on Legend in the hope that he makes a mistake or runs wide or something. They're going through the tunnel now. He looks like he was going to have a go. Decides better of it. Legend covering the inside line there. Pretorius not finished yet, but does decide quite wisely to pull back in and live to fight another day.
Oh, and he gets a good run out of the chicane there, and he just cannot get past. It looks like Legend is making his car as wide as possible, and Icewind gets the first penalty off the race. Legend struggling though on the traction, it seems. You can see the car just dancing about.
There's another yellow flag towards the back there. That's Icewind spun. Yeah. He has damage as well. That's an end plate gone, so he will be pitting, I assume. And then trying to make the soft
we've got a safety car.
A safety car.
Yeah, safety car come up.
Really? For that? Okay, but yep.
The damage.
Pit lane is a hive of activity all of a sudden. So Bailey, Legend, and Backroll not able to benefit from the safety car. They were already past the pit entry when that was called. Everybody else, well, I say everybody, most of the rest are good deciding to pit and switch to those softer compound tyres now.
Yeah, Prey in the pits. He does like to, he often says to me when he's chiefing me, he's like, always pit under a safety car if you can. Even if he VSC, you can make massive gains under that. I think he's going to benefit massively from that. He will be P8 though, stuck behind Ace Boys. Everyone ahead of him will have slightly older soft tire compound. Joel as well in the pits, so I wonder if that issue was between Icewind and Joel picking up damage as well.
Yeah, I did wonder that. Joel seems to have lost out quite a bit there somewhere. Yeah, finds himself at the back of the grid. Generally speaking, quite clean racing though. I'm really impressed with this today so far. A couple of knocks and bumps and things like that, but no catastrophic crashes or anything like that yet. Tend to see these races tend to get quite frantic very quickly, so especially in the closing stages of the race. But, yeah, Bailey leads us round currently behind the safety car. Everybody will be trying to keep their tyres warm.
Yeah, so what have we got? The top 7 still have to pit Larson on their super softs. I wonder why he didn't pit to the soft tire compound, but he's obviously wondering himself why he didn't make that decision the first time around. Decides to go in this time, so he won't lose too many positions at the back there, but he will be on the fresher tire compound and not have to pit, which is going to be pretty huge. We'll be allowed to catch up with the safety car as well, so probably a wise decision from Larson there at the back.
Yeah, of course his tyres will be 1 lap younger than everybody else that pitted on the previous lap as well, so I wonder if there's a bit of strategy being employed there as well, or if it's maybe just a case of trying to avoid his teammate who will have likely been pitting the lap before. Having said that, double stack's maybe not the worst thing under a safety car. It's never normally that bad. But, yeah, everybody just focusing on keeping the tyre temperatures where they want them and keeping an eye on the guy in the front. It's actually surprisingly easy just to tap the guy in front and then give both of you a 5-second time penalty. So we're trying very hard not to do that.
Yeah, you're talking about double stacks there. I mean, the worst double stack I ever experienced was in a race with Snell Henke. We both had 5-second time penalties. The safety car came out, and our chief was like, both of his pit. So went into the pits. Oh, safety car in this lap. But yeah, I had to wait 5 seconds, and then for them to change the tires, and then 5 seconds for me, and then change the tires. It was the longest pit stop of my life.
Yeah, almost like you're having to serve your teammates' penalty as well as your own. So Bailey Thompson now back in the pack up, slowly makes his way around this final corner. When does he decide to drop it? He does so now, and we are racing once more. Crossing the line there, there's a bit of tight fighting going on at the back there. I think that looks like Dragon trying to make a move on Crystals.
Yeah,
they were side by side for a little while. Crystals does hang on to that position for now as they make their way up the hill again then on the restart. Very tight behind there though. We've got Dragon, Aceboy, Pretorius and McKenda are all look like they're almost nudging each other around the corners here. Oh, and it looks like Pretorius is gonna have a go. He decides not to, but going to the inside has allowed McKenda to get right up next to him. Doesn't get through on this occasion. There's a few more positions being traded at the back there. That's Pemi on Scorto, and they've got Stark.
Scorto, yeah, tagged his back wheel and sent Pemi into the wall, unfortunately. So, it's easy done.
Don't think there's any damage there, but yeah, that's cost them both any position that they were currently in. They find themselves now at the back of the grid.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the concertina in effect.
Oh, somebody's around in the chicane there. Who's that? That's Aceboy. Aceboy's managed to somehow get himself into the wall there. I think he must have just clipped the sausage curb a little bit too much on the inside there. That's maybe unsettled the car and pivoted him round into the wall on the left there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's not ideal. He does pick up a warning, well, a penalty, sorry, as well for his troubles.
I think it's going to be too early to go on the super softs. I don't think they're going to go to the end, but we'll find out, I guess. This boy will have to pit. That front wing damage is going to be quite significant. And it looked like Legend had a wee peek at Bailey Thompson there. He really has got up to speed on this track, and he's now harassing Bailey Thompson. He doesn't have Pretorius behind him anymore, pushing him through the corners and putting the pressure on him. So, and Bailey Thompson almost losing the back end. He almost froze the car into the hairpin, and that time it didn't work out very well for him.
Goal manages to get past Futuristic, who misses the corner and goes straight on into one of the runoffs. He now has wing damage as well. So,
and he's in the wall.
And Aceboy does indeed decide to go for the super soft.
Futuristic actually going into the wall.
We've got a safety car once more.
Yeah, I think that was futuristic. It was just for the hairpin, you know, that bit of barrier sticks out. He just caught that and stopped the car dead. He's now got no front wing.
Yeah,
But
it's almost when you feel like you're understeering into that corner, you're almost better off just going down the runoff road and reversing back and hoping you don't get disqualified for it. Just to save the wing damage, as you were saying at the beginning of the race here, wing damage is the single biggest threat on this track. It will compromise your race so badly if you get it. But yeah, cleanliness is the key to victory here.
Bailey,
I wonder if we'll see the top guys pitting then, because
yeah, they've stayed out this time. Following Legend a minute, yeah, both of them stayed out. So none of these front guys. I think that's just an indication that the super softs are not going to go to the end from this this point. It'll probably be a bit deeper into the race then.
This is, of course, a little bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card for Ace Boy then, who will be allowed to catch back up with the grid here now. But yeah, as you say, it's yeah, interesting to see that the top 6 still need to make a pit stop. Scorto as well, and everybody then deciding to stay out on the softs for now.
Yeah, Ace Boy's at the back. He may be compromised on that. Futuristic as well, but no super softs on, so I don't know if they'll get to the end or not. Might be a bit touch and go for those guys. Might have to pit again, so they're probably praying for another safety car. We've had 2 already on lap 8, so it is possible. Icewind as well, back up to P9. Joe as well, P10. So they've came back into this race. This safety car is going to bunch everybody back up again. And somehow McKenna got back past Praetorius. Did you see that, Boosted?
I missed it, but I was just about to say that essentially puts McKenna into the lead of the race then, I assume. I think, does it?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I mean, it really depends on the top 6. Like, if they're going to stay tight together, yeah, McKenna is going to benefit massively. But if one of the guys ahead has an issue and starts holding up McKenna, it could be costly.
Yeah. Watching everybody file around for one more lap, I would assume that safety car will pit on this lap. I certainly hope so anyway. Get back underway with some racing.
Is this the part where we talk about house prices at Monaco?
Yeah, it's a rich man's game, this place, I think.
Have you read that report about Jeff Bezos? Apparently he bought a yacht that has its own yacht. There's like a yacht within a yacht.
But the support yacht, I was reading this the other day, the support yacht has a helipad built onto it. So
of course
the main yacht that he has, or that he's buying seemingly, doesn't have space for a helipad because it's a sailing yacht. But so this little support yacht that he has, I say little, is the one that has the helipad on it. I mean, really bizarre. There's also, was there not also something in the article as well that mentioned the small support yacht possibly also having little submarines on board as well?
Probably, yeah.
So, little recreational things.
I mean, if anyone's a Bond villain, it's that guy. He's just morphing into like an evil villain, megalomaniac, before our very eyes.
Something crazy like $350 million as well. Mad. I mean, fair play. That's the way you flex your money, isn't it? It's yachts are seemingly the biggest money pit that you can possibly buy ever. So nothing screams I have tons of money more than owning a private yacht.
Well, if I ever won the lottery, which is unlikely because the odds are against it, but also I don't do the lottery. But if I was to somehow win the lottery, I think I would buy an island and build a racetrack on it, and then a mansion in the middle where I lived, and then just invite people over to have races. And if they beat
double up as the racing tower then as well.
Yeah,
have a small lookout on one side.
Yeah, but I would just make my car slightly faster than everybody else's, of course. So, safety car did not pit last lap.
disappointing. You should hopefully see it pit this lap. This is the only downside of the F2 races, is if you get a couple of safety cars, it takes up so much of the race time. You actually only have maybe half race distance done under full throttle. However, have a quick peek down the grid, make sure everybody still has a wing intact. Nobody seems to have outbraked themselves into the back of anybody, which is good. No DNFs yet this race either, which is very good actually. So doing well today. Certainly doing better than I could, I think.
Yeah, I think it's going to be safety car in this lap. Yeah, it is. There we go. The message is on screen. Yeah, everybody's bunched up pretty tightly. And Billy Thompson, now leading the race, will become the lead car and set the pace off this restart. So we'll see how he does it.
Yeah, let's see when he decides to go for it this time round. Last time he was almost at the DRS line before he put the throttle down. He's gone again at the DRS line, so actually caught Legend napping a little bit there. He's gapping him already. So Bailey gets an amazing restart there. Legend and Backer not bad either. Zyken somehow caught sleeping. There's already a 1.5 second gap between Backer and Zyken now. So everybody away cleanly on this restart then. Very, very tight behind Zyken there. We've got a yellow flag coming up the hill. That was Larson having a bit of an issue.
Yeah, he's got front wing damage as well, so I think he's clipped the exit of turn 1. So that will be bad news for him.
Time to pit for super softs then for him perhaps then.
Oh, and Legend in the background there behind Billy, just running so close to that wall. Back row as well, he's done well to keep in with these lead guys. Obviously the safety cars helped massively with that, but yeah, his strat seems to be paying off here. He looks pretty strong here in P3 as BE Dragon gets a 3-second time penalty. We're running very close to the wall again.
Oh, there's a yellow flag at the back there.
Scordo, I think, yeah, Scordo's had contact with the wall, front wing. Is it front wing damage? Oh, and Prey has left this session, so I think that's a disconnect from him. And Scordo does not actually have damage.
Try and get Pretorius invited back in as soon as possible.
Yeah, we've seen this before, haven't we? In races where he has a disconnect, and yeah, that's allowed Joel 8 to get past him, and he's got a bit of a gap down to P11, but if he's not quick in getting back in the session, he will lose that position as well. It's going to be pretty bad for him here at Monaco.
Don't see him online on Steam, unless I don't actually have him. I thought I did.
Let me see if I can find him. Oh, I've got him up. Pray. Invite. Okay, there we go. Invite sent.
Hopefully get him back in session as quick as possible now then. So the top 3 have managed to separate themselves out now. There's a second between each of them. Bailey will be enjoying this immensely. Yeah,
that restart, he really nailed it there, didn't he? Like you say, he caught him napping. Sector 2, got a yellow flag.
Ace Boy's around. And that's damage for him as well. Looks like he's missing a substantial part of the front wing there. Yeah, the entirety of the left wing is gone. Time for him to pit. This is going to hurt him badly because he's already pitted for Super Soft. Pretorius joins us back again.
Yeah, unfortunately for him though, he has lost a couple of positions, and I think he's got some front wing damage as well. I don't know how that happened because AI was controlling his car there, but he does have right front end plate damage.
Yeah, not going well for the championship leader then. This is going to hurt his chances as he leaves again. Oh no, I think he's got some serious connection problems right now. Which is good for McKender then and Icewind. They are of course running 2nd and 3rd in the championship as we speak. See, it's another yellow flag somewhere back at the bottom there. That is Ace Boy retiring from the session, so he's decided that's enough for him today.
Bit of a train here behind, who is it? It's Zyken, so he's got a train right back to P8, from P4 to P8. He's going to be running very, very tight, and 3 of these guys have the older soft tires on, as we see X-Crystal getting a penalty there in Nouvelle Chicane. But yeah, these BWT guys are anxious to get past here, but they're having to be very patient. Hoping these guys ahead pit soon, and I think they probably, judging by the fact that Ace Boys did 5 laps in those super softs and then he had that incident, I wonder if it's indicating that that's when they're starting to fall off. As Legend is in the pits, Legend is in the pits from P2, putting on the super soft, so lap 14, 7 laps. I wonder if this
Can we expect the rest of the leaders to respond to that on the next lap then? They're going to have to do something. So, just seeing there's quite a tight group of cars still from as I came back then. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys involved in this train right now. Mackinder and Iceland getting very impatient at the back of this train, of course. Just see if anybody decides to send it anywhere. Joel won't be too long before he catches up to this train as well. That gap is closing rather quickly. As the Zykin leads the train through the tunnel now, down towards the chicane. See if we can see any late dives from anybody coming down there. No, everybody decides to stay quite clean. Crystal's getting very close to the back of a Zykin. That was almost a bump. We head through to back now. Everybody's still keeping it in orderly single file. Of course, DRS will be in effect when they get around these final sets of corners now. We might see a few position changes coming up. Crystals dives into the pit lane, as does Dragon, I think.
Yeah, Dragon in the pit, yeah.
Joel is therefore promoted up into 6th as well. Then the 2 BWT guys up into 4th and 5th. See where Crystals and Dragon managed to rejoin then. They're heading down towards the pit exit now. This has dropped them down to 12th and 13th position, this will be.
Ooh, Joel tapping the wall there, gets away with it. It was a bit of wheel contact on the wall. But he's obviously pushing quite hard in that car. He's got a 1.8 gap to Icewind up ahead, P5. And I tell you what, Pretorius' race is... He's done well to get up to P9 again, but he's got 2 guys behind. Oh, and Legend, yeah, Legend and Larson fighting there. Legend getting past Larson, but yeah, Prey, he's staying out with his front wing damage, and he's already pitted. So, I mean, if he pits now, it's pretty much game over. So I think that's the only option really is to stay out and try his hardest to get some points in this race.
Of course, 6 laps to go. It wouldn't make any sense to pit now. I don't think if you can ride it out, then it's worth doing your best to do that. I would expect to see the leaders pitting now as Bailey does dive into the pits. Backroll stays out with wing damage. Interesting. So Bailey comes into his box.
Legend go down the inside in the penultimate corner, and that was a bit of a... we see that in the real F1 actually, on the penultimate corner. You can't send it down the inside there and kind of force your way in. I think Leclerc tried it and got spun around. Pretorius has had to back out of that one. So Legend getting a very crucial move down there, P8, and he's going for another move. And
somebody's gone around there.
Who was
Futuristic's gone around in the first corner.
I wonder if that was Legend caused that. He did seem to be throwing it into that corner, and he was harassing whoever it was there.
It's not ideal. That surely is wing damage, although I can't quite tell just yet.
And look who benefited massively from that. Somehow Pretorius is P6, 2 positions ahead of Legend now. After Legend just passed him.
Comeback is on. Back row, of course, will surely have to pit.
Mackinder letting Icewind through as well. So Icewind up to P2. He does have that time penalty, so team orders there for Mackinder and Icewind.
Backrow does indeed pit now, so he jumps onto his set of super softs.
And does not change that front wing, so he's happy enough with that front end plate. Maybe it's not costing too much time at this track. Although downforce, I imagine the more downforce the better at this one especially.
We make it back on track before Bailey does though. He comes out the pit now. Bailey is passing the pit exit as we speak. He's going to comfortably take that position, I think, and Backward's going to lose out to Pretorius as well. Just
about, yeah,
very
just about.
close.
And both these guys have front wing damage, so it's almost like the guys behind, they're going to be kicking themselves. They obviously won't know about the front wing damage, but they're probably going to pull up behind these guys pretty quickly and see a roadblock ahead of back row and Pretorius, which is good news for the guys ahead of Pretorius.
So what we're going to see from the front runners now then. I'm going to assume Icewind and McKenna will run these tyres to the end of the race now. It wouldn't make much sense to pit again. Same goes for Joel. Of course, Joel and Icewind both have time penalties, so if Bailey can close that gap, he might still be able to use those penalties to his advantage. He does, of course, have clear air in front of him.
Yeah, 6.4 the gap. There's only, what, 4 laps after this one left?
Yep. It is possible. If the guys fight a little bit up ahead, it can be done. They are, however, spreading out a little bit. We do have a yellow flag in the final sector there. Who's that? That looks like Pretorius.
Yeah, Pretorius is off. He's the wrong way around. I wonder what happened there, but yeah, I wonder if that was another issue with Legend. I wonder if those guys seem to find each other on track. But yeah, Billy Thompson's dad in chat saying second safety car screwed Billy over. Kebab as well. Hello, Kebab. How are you, sir? Pretorius down to P12 then. And X-Crystal getting past Larson. We're seeing a lot of position changes. So Pemi and Legend are going side by side here. Oh, and is he going to get squeezed in the wall? He does not. He backs out of it. Legend up to P6. So Legend is on an absolute tear here. Not really an overtaken track, but that doesn't seem to be computing with Legend. He's just in full
making that move with wing damage as well somehow.
Yikes.
Does Pemi have wing damage as well? He does. Pemi's missing an end plate as well, I think. Is he? I'm struggling to see here. He is. Pemi has no end plate. So Legend and Pemi both have wing damage. Crystals does not. He's on super softs and closing on the pair of them.
Billy Thompson though closing in big time. I was a bit dubious whether he could close this gap in time, but I mean, judging by that lap alone, he made up almost 2 seconds on P3 Joel. P3 Joel has a time penalty, as does Icewind, so Billy's in with a chance of podium here. He may even contest for the win. 3 seconds, 3
laps to go, of course, so all still to play for here for him. His dad's saying push, push, push. That gap is still closing rapidly, 3.8 now. Yeah, he's on a mission here.
Yeah, these super softs do have a limited lifespan, I imagine, but he's making the most of it right now. 3.7, that delta is coming crashing down. Scordo with time penalty at the back. It's not going to really factor too much in this race. But yeah, Billy's almost within that 3 second range of Joel, so that means he's in for a podium. But if he can pass Joel and get past, if he can pass him, he could well contend for P2, P1. Icewind as well ahead, and P1 does have that time penalty. That's probably why McKender allowed Icewind pass. They both had similar pace, the BWT guys, but if Icewind can get up ahead, maybe McKender can defend a little bit and buy Icewind some time. Icewind could actually win this race. I wonder, like, I mean, if you really want to deep into the strategy, the best thing would be for McKender to slow down Joel and the guys behind and let Icewind get a 3 second gap, meaning that they would come home P1, P2.
Of course, that's exactly what they need as well in the championship at the minute. Icewind running second at the minute and McKender in third. Pretorius, who's leading quite comfortably in the championship initially, will lose quite a stack of points in this race to the two BWT guys. So yeah, I think you're calling that exactly right. This is exactly what these two are trying to do here.
Yeah, and they're not in VC, so they're going to have to do this by telepathy. Say the word?
Telepathy.
Yeah. Can't speak the English.
So Bailey has closed the gap to 1.5 seconds now. So he's in P3 essentially as things stand.
Yeah, and he's catching rapidly, but catching one thing, passing is another at this track. I don't think Joel has any damage either. No, he doesn't have a damage. Oh, running so close to those walls are these drivers. But yeah, Joel's going to know that Bailey's coming. He's going to see that delta going down, and it's 1.2, so Bailey almost within that DRS range, and that will of course aid him in his hunt down for the podium position here. He's already got P3 in the bag, but really if he wants to do any better, he's going to have to get past Joel pretty quickly. Actually, I'm saying that it's the last lap. Can you believe it? It's the last lap of this race, and you know what? Icewind has a 3-second gap back to P3, so P1 and P2 does look like it's in the bag for Icewind and McKender. Don't want to curse anyone here, but yeah, as long as they can bring it home in one piece, I think they're going to get P1, P2 here, and that's going to be pretty satisfying for them.
Yeah, they've called this beautifully in this race, and yeah, made exactly the right calls right when it mattered. Bailey settles in behind Joel now. I would be surprised if he risks any moves at this stage. He will probably just sit there and take P3.
Yep.
I must say, big props to Joel as well. Like, he's throughout this championship in F2, he's just been getting better and better and better. Considering he came to F2 having had no F2 experience whatsoever and struggling in the first couple of races, he's doing phenomenally well now.
Yeah, and he has a tendency just to show up without much practice and do really well, which really annoys me. As McKender crosses the line, P1, Icewind P2, and yeah, Bailey getting that final podium position. Joel doing well there to bring it home with P4, a back row as well. I mean, he had a pretty quiet race, bit of front wing damage he had to contend with in the midsection to the end, and Pemi as well. P6, Legend P7. All three of those guys having front wing damage. As I can P8, and he will start in pole for the sprint race, and so that's crucial from Aziken. And I'm running out the top 10 X Crystals, 2 SRL Larson. So Larson, I mean, the last time I saw him, he was spinning out after that safety car restart. I had front wing damage, so to get P10, and I believe that is a point in the feature race.
I think so, yeah. So yeah, managing to make something out of what was a bit of a scrappy race for him today.
Futuristic making his way through the final corner, and it's been a bit of a race to forget for him. P13, Scordo as well, right at the back, not able to keep it together. I mean, even finishing Monaco, I mean, fair play to him. It's an achievement.
Yeah, I mean, only one DNF in this this entire grid, so yeah, hats off to everybody for making it round the track in one piece today. So yeah, we will of course see a reverse grid for the top 8 for the sprint race, which is coming up immediately now, I think. Get through the trophy ceremony. So yeah, we have confirmation McKender and Icewind, the two Finns, taking first and second. Bailey manages to pip Joel to third position in quite a heroic charge in the closing stages of the race there. Joel then slots into fourth position. Backrow takes fifth. Pemi in sixth. Legend takes seventh. And Aziken in eighth, which means Aziken will be starting on pole for next race. Pemi will start in second and Backrow in third. Going to be very interesting to see how the two BWT guys manage to fight their way through the grid in this next race. It will be a little bit more frantic. There's obviously less laps to complete before you finish.
Yeah, and I'm just totaling up the points for P1 and P2. That's like, what, 43 points, I believe? That's going to be huge.
I'll say yes. Yeah, that's quite a jump.
I think that, yeah. I mean, if they do as well in the sprint race, they could take over P1 in the constructors.
Also looks very good as well for Icewind in the driver championship as well. That's going to really help him close the gap to Pretorius. I don't think it's quite enough to take the lead at the minute. He'll be hoping for a similar kind of finish position in the sprint race, and that probably would just about do it.
So the guys choosing their strats here. I imagine it's going to be soft tires. One stint for this one. It's probably going to be around about 14 laps, maybe slightly less. But yeah, it's just going to be all out race to the finish line. May see a few more incidents in this one, but everybody's had 21 laps practice at this track effectively. So let's see how they get on as Zykan leads the way into turn 1 after finishing P8 in the last race there. A Legend as well in a great position here. P2, Pemi, we know he's a fast boy. P3, back row finished well in that last one. P4, but then we've got all these, we've got like Murderer's Row behind, Juliet, Bailey Thompson, Icewind, McKender, X Crystals, even back there, Pretorius. It's painful to see him back in P12, but we'll see what he can do with that. Obviously, he had a bit of a nightmare in that feature race with that disconnect. It was actually looking pretty well for him until that point.
It's really unfortunate for him. It's just one of those things in sim racing. I guess in the real world, you've always got a risk of a mechanical failure. Well, in sim racing, you've got a risk of technological failure. So
yeah, big risk. Codemasters having
yeah, let's hope that's all lined out for the new game that releases in June, of course. So we'll be switching into the next season of SLR racing around then. As Icon thinks he's racing, by the look of it, there's a huge gap between him and Legend.
Yep, he's gonna be
locking up into the last corner even. My goodness.
Yeah, we both race against this guy in Tier 4, and I don't know if you've had much experience of him, but I mean, if I see this guy behind me, I just know it's going to be a tough race, because he's absolutely rapid.
I was going to say, my experience of racing with him is usually looking at the back of him, so... everybody slotting themselves in on the grid here and getting ready for the sprint race. 15 laps to try and claw in as many points as they possibly can. Ace Boy just putting himself onto his starting blocks there. Engines start to rev, the lights start to come on. 5 lights on, and we are go for the sprint race. That looks like a mega start from Legend, who immediately throws himself into second position now. Coming into the first corner, there's a dive from back row, I think that is. Joel's just in the back there waiting to try and take advantage from anything as well. As we are led up the hill by a Zykan. Everything looking fairly clean so far, which is good to see. Going down towards the first section of tight corners and chicanes here. The timing tower is going a bit wild, so everybody just ignore that for now. And around this chicane, still looking very clean. A little bit of concertinaing going on there. I don't think there's been any bumps or wing damages so far.
Prey had a pretty good start there as well. He's at the P9 from P12. Able to go too wide for the hairpin, which is usually not advisable, but he makes it stick.
Yeah, Legend is the big loser of the start of this race, unfortunately. He's slipped down to 6th position. He's and cuts the chicane there. That's going to be a warning at the very least. Heading round through to back 9 around this lovely fast-flowing 3rd sector of the course. There's a yellow flag. That is Crystals has had an incident. He's gone around. He's missing his entire front wing, so that's been a huge bump somewhere. That's going to cost him dearly. He's going to have to pit for that now. And he picks up a time penalty for corner cutting as well.
Yeah, he might just park it in the pits, you know, because...
Yeah.
There's virtual safety car out at the minute, though. Yeah, he gets a 5-second speed penalty. I'm going to, retire from this. Unfortunate,
as you say, calling it there, the VSC would have expected that to maybe have thrown some kind of a lifeline there, but Crystal's deciding against it. So, unfortunate afternoon for him today. So timing tower seems to have sorted itself out now, which is good. So Zykan is leading Pemi and back row around this tight chicane. Heading down towards the tunnel once more now. DRS will of course be enabled on the next lap. There's a position change at the back as McKender, is like McKender or Bailey seems to have got it wrong a bit somewhere as McKenna manages to squeeze by him. Oh, and Legend picks up a penalty. That's costly for him. Yeah, this is not a good time to be picking up penalties. We head around onto the start-finish straight once more. The top three are very close to one another. Are we going to see any dives here into the first corner? No DRS just yet. That will of course be available on the next lap. Keeping it very clean through this first corner. I say that, Pemi looks like he wanted to have a peek going up the hill there. Decides to just play it safe for just now. This is backing up into back row though, who is also looking like he wants to have a go here somewhere.
Oh,
and he does indeed. Yep.
And he sends it and he makes it stick. Oh, and there's contact and oh yeah, just almost sent him into the wall there, so it's getting a wee bit scrappy here. He goes, thankfully, which allows other drivers to make their way through successfully, but he's down to P5. TSX Legend up to P3, so he absolutely gained massively from that. But Joel X as well, P2. He's holding his own out there. Pemi down to P4 from P2, so a bit of confusion there. I think the ghosting probably helped some and not others.
Yeah, some drivers obviously being able to take advantage of that. Others were a bit caught up themselves in that concertina effect. A couple of guys ended up going side by side around the chicane as a result.
Yeah, and this is looking really good for us. Like, oh, and I saw Pemi hit the wall, and there's front wing damage. His car goes there as he had to slow down massively. But yeah,
and he can't pit. He can't pit because he's got McKenna on his inside there, so he couldn't get into the pit entrance. So whether he wanted to or not, he was he was going to have to commit to continuing for another lap at least.
Billy up the inside of Pemi, makes that stick, so he's obviously saw an injured lion up ahead and one, I'm going to have this one.
Icewind taking advantage of that as well, and Pretorius following through as well on the way up the hill here.
Yeah,
so Pemi losing out big time now as a result of his damage.
Must be significant damage there. Is Dragon now as well behind? Is he going to send it up the inside? Does not on this occasion. But yeah, these guys are running pretty tight, aren't they?
Everybody within a second of everybody just about from third position downwards, so very tight pack. But all this fighting is playing wonderfully into Zyken's hand, who's managing to pull away. Joel also has a fairly respectable gap-ish at the minute. It is closing, Legend is charging, but Joel is managing to hold his own. So
Joel has the fastest lap currently, so I think he's starting to dial into this track, and you see the delta come down a little bit there. He's starting to creep towards the DRS range, which will assist him in pulling in a Zyken further. But as we said at the start of the race, Zyken, yeah, he's a fast boy, so it's going to take a bit of an effort to get past him, as Joel does indeed get within DRS range. So he's starting to put the pressure on a Zyken here, and you see that delta coming down now with DRS activated. Actually, did he?
3 fastest laps there as everybody crossed the line there, jumping back and forth between them all. Yeah, I'm just trying to see, who was it that had the, somebody had wing damage, I think it was Pemi, wasn't it, earlier on, he decides to continue on then. Dragon still not managing to get past him yet, so Pemi making that car incredibly wide.
One Dragon is going to go on the inside. Yeah, it makes it stick. I think Pemi kind of conceded that position there. He kind of knew it was over. I think Pemi knows his front wing damage is not worth fighting too hard with these guys all around him.
Best just to stay out and try and keep it clean and hope other people suffer a similar misfortune as well. But we head through the tunnel once more then. 1 second gap that Zyken did have is now gone. This means that first all the way down to 8th are all within 1 second of one another, so everybody will have DRS as they cross the start finish line. Coming around towards the back half of the circuit now through the final corners. Will we see a dive from Joel then? Joel is up 3 positions now actually, so he's had a wonderful start to the race.
Yeah, the only one in this pack not getting DRS is a Zyken up front, so that adds additional pressure as he wants to keep it nice and tidy for turn 1 now. So I mean, as long as he keeps his pace up.
Oh, there's a yellow flag in the final sector there. I think that is Gorto, yep, has had a bit of an issue there. Keeps it off the wall, keeps it free of damage though, so he gets himself underway again, gets away with that. get straight back to the front again here where all the action is currently as we make our way through this tight left-hand chicane. Everybody can get through cleanly. There's a bit of bumping and a yellow flag somewhere. It would not surprise me if somebody's lost an end plate, and they have. It's Icewind.
Oh no.
It's missing his left end plate. So something's happened as they've gone through there. Gonna have a quick look at everybody else and see what their car conditions are in. Bailey's also missing a left end plate. McKender has a wing intact, so he's doing alright. So Bailey and Icewind, yeah, something funny going on through that hairpin there. They're now going to have to nurse this damage to the end. Actually, I think Legend's missing an end plate as well? Question? Yes, he is. Left end plate for Legend as well. So 3 of our top 6 have got wing damage.
Yeah, that's good news for Zygon and Joel up front, and Pretorius as well. I mean, he's
actually, it's not good news for Joel because Joel also has wing damage.
Oh, okay. So let's yeah, Zygon. I mean, this
and
is
back row. Back row's all over this.
Oh yes.
Macro's making a move stick, he's through. There's another yellow flag further down towards the first corner, but Macro having a right good look at Legend here.
Larson out, a virtual safety car. I was going to say, is it a full safety car? But no, looks like after turn 1, yeah, he's came off, and Scordo as well decided to pack it in. Oh, I think Scordo actually hit. Let me see, I'm going to ride on board race, but yeah, there's massive carnage. How is this not a safety car? That is crazy.
What's going on? So Larson's AI is trying to 3-point turn him. I suspect Scorto's come up the hill as the AI has been trying to turn Larson's car around, and of course it's a human driver wouldn't, or you know,
yeah.
The drivers are of such a caliber in this league that if it was a human controlling the car, they would sit and wait until everybody else is driven by before they try and set off. Joel picking up a penalty for speeding.
A drive-through penalty. That's him out. Yeah. So that's gonna like release Legend. Futuristic getting a time penalty as well. But my word, what is going on? Joel straight into the pits. Decides to serve that straight off the bat. So Legend with that 3-second time penalty. I mean.
I wonder, will Joel be able to... Yeah, Joel does indeed replace that front wing as well.
Really?
This is interesting. Oh, and he retires.
I was going to say, drive-through penalty,
so
usually don't pit. Usually just drive through.
I wonder if that was an error. Was the VSC still on when he came into the pits? Is that possibly why you can't serve your penalty under a VSC or a safety car? I don't think. So I wonder if there was a bit of a misjudgment there. That was a bit strange.
Yeah, but this is all happy day. I mean, it's all falling into the lap of a Zygon. He's got a guy behind with, is it front wing damage on the Legend as well? But if not, he's got a 3-second time penalty. Bailey picking up a 3-second time penalty as well. So that's good news for Pretorius and Icewind behind, and Dragon as well.
Pretorius and McKender both surely rubbing their hands in glee with how this race is going so far. So Pretorius has made 6 positions from where he started. McKender has made 4. So both these guys are pushing on at the minute. Just going to do a quick check down the grid to check damages. So Legend still carrying damage. Back row is not carrying damage. McKender is not. Bailey I think still is. Yep, he is. Pretorius is okay, and Icewind is also carrying damage.
But as we can see, it is a wise idea just to stay out of it is a small bit of damage, because Legend back row maintaining P2, P3, and McKenna is on the back of back row, but it's a mission to pass someone here, and he's running out of laps to do an overtake, so we've got what, 6 laps after this one?
Yep, so not long left to get any of the moves done that they want to get done. I'm a bit late with the call here, but Bailey's dad saying that he picked up damage from Legend earlier on there, so the pair of them must have touched and both got a bit of damage as a result of that.
Oh, and Prey is going for a move down the inside of Bailey. He was so close there, and he actually kind of spooked Bailey, I think, because Bailey making a mistake there under braking, able to maintain his position there, but Prey almost going into the back of Bailey, so I think Bailey's really struggling with this front wing damage. I don't know if Prey knows that he has the front wing damage, but yeah, Prey is all over Bailey at the minute for that
And
P5.
Dragon's starting to put Icewind under pressure now as well. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3 for Futuristic, who's managed to go around there. He's trying to do a several point turn to get himself pointing the right way again. I think he has damage. He does. The whole left side of his wing's gone. I suspect this is going to be a retirement as he slings it into the pit and bins it on the pit entrance and causes a safety car. What?
Oh my word. Okay. Okay.
Wow. Okay, so
I was gonna say, like, he should stay in the race because I mean, there's only what 11 people at that time left. Points are still on the table, but yeah, full safety car, which means we aren't going to have much more laps of racing here. And are we going to see anyone pitting? I think some of the guys at the back will probably put on a fresh set of boots and just
surely makes sense just to go for it. Surely.
Hell for leather,
I mean, the pack is so bunched up now. There's only going to be, I think, 2 guys in this race who are not going to pick up points. So your chances of points are really high now. I think that's right, isn't it? Top 8 get points, 9th and 10th do not in this sprint race. So surely everything to play for here. I mean, think about it, Ace Boy's so far back as well that realistically the front runners only have to worry about passing one person if they do decide to pit for that damage.
Yeah, and again, this suits Zyken down to the ground. He can stay out on these tires. He's got a guy behind with front wing damage and 3 seconds penalties, and P3 is front wing damage. Really, McKender is a bit of a threat, but he's going to have to make pretty quick work of back row and Legend to contest for this race win.
Well, Legend stays out with that damage then, he decides not to pit. In fact, only Bailey and Pemi decide to go for the gamble, so both these guys were carrying front wing damage. They both pit now for the super soft and for a front wing replacement, so I think Bailey will be the winner out of this pair in terms of being able to contest that final points playing position. He will get out ahead of Pemi. And he does indeed do so. Aceboy too far back to contest this at all. So 3 of these guys now will be pushing like daft to get caught back up with the safety car train.
Yeah.
Although I suspect it's going to go for another lap yet anyway, so they should have plenty of time to do this.
And we saw in the feature race how fast Bailey was on these super softs, and now he's got that front wing change. I mean, you know, he could still finish pretty well here. He does have a time penalty as well, but that's just going to further bolster his campaign, his charge ahead. So this could be good riveting viewing for us. But I'm sure the guys in like Dragon, Icewind, and Pretorius are not going to be looking forward to that charge of Bailey's. Pemi as well.
Yeah, a mad sprint to the finish here. Pretorius is up into 5th actually, so he's 7 positions up from his starting position now. Is of course, is he carrying? Yeah, he's still carrying that damage. So let me try and get my head around this. So we've got Legend in 2nd position, has damage. Back row's fine. McKender is fine. Pretorius and Icewind are not. So we've got Legend, Pretorius, and Icewind are carrying front wing damage.
Is Pretorius got front? I don't see any on his car.
I think he did. Oh no, he doesn't. No, you're right. Okay, that's strange then. I'm not sure why I was calling that. Yeah, Icewind and Legend definitely do. So we head round for one more safety car lap. Bailey and Pemi managing to make it around to the back of the grid here.
X Crystals in chat saying, by the way, it was a boring race. Maybe for you.
Not for us. Sometimes it can be perceived as boring quite easily to the drivers if they're towards the back and a little bit lonely in terms of not having many people around them. It can be almost as grueling as trying to fight when you're in that kind of a situation. Just trying to keep banging in the consistent laps and to keep focusing on hitting every apex. It's surprising how demanding that can be as well when you're on your own.
And you know, just on that note, Zyken has been in the lead of this race from the get-go, and that itself is a big pressure. You know, you have so much going on around you, and you're just trying to stay cool, put those laps in. You know that one mistake is all it takes for you to lose that lead. I haven't been in that position very often, but when I have been, yeah, you certainly do feel the pressure. But sometimes, you know, drivers react well to that, and they can, it kind of sharpens their focus. But sometimes you can see drivers just crumble under the pressure. So hopefully, he's only a few laps left, but he could well be on his way for an F2 win here.
The safety car takes us round for one more lap under the full course yellow. This has allowed Aceboy to catch completely back up at the back of the grid. So everyone's still going to be in contention here then. This is going to be a mad dash to the finish line, I think. And they will only have, when they cross the line, 2 more laps to do that. And no DRS for the rest of this race. It's going to be very tricky to get any moves done then. I think we're going to see quite a few dives then, and a number of lockups from the guys who are carrying front wing damage.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys there at the back with not much to lose here and a lot to gain if they do try a few sends. So yeah, there could be chaos, and there won't be any threat of safety car again, because yeah, these final laps you don't get safety car. The safety car will not come out again. Fedavera in chat, very disappointed with that comment. The feature race was also boring. Right, that's it. I'll see you in court, son. Take you up in the slander. My
full wrath of the commentator's curse for your next F2 race. Yeah, safety car now taking us round into the final sector of the course. It is indeed in this lap. The lights are switched off as Aiken takes over as the pacemaker. Bunching people up very early there, so slowly making our way through this last section of corners. Legend looks like he's raring to get going. Where will he go? On the final corner now, crosses the DRS line, and he is already on the power now. Legend has read that beautifully. He's still immediately behind him, as is back row, so no big gaps appearing other than behind Pretorius. Legend picking up a time penalty.
Yeah, I wonder if back row, it looked like he nudged him a little bit there going for turn 1, but yeah, he had to get on the brakes pretty heavy. McKender now harassing back row, and yeah, these guys are so punched up at the minute.
This is going to cost Legend massively. He's now got 6 seconds of time penalty, so as things stand, he's going to drop to the back. Bailey already making a move on Dragon.
Oh!
Manages to force him. I think he goes right to outside of the chicane here. He's really hassling Icewind. And then down the inside of the next corner, he's going to make it stick. Icewind touches the wall.
Yeah, Icewind into the wall.
They're still side by side. Bailey ultimately comes out on top. Elbows were definitely out for that move.
Yeah, but a bit of a desperate move there. Unfortunately, Icewind paying the price there. I don't see any further damage to his wing, but
both of them cutting the corner.
Yeah, that's
and picking up another time penalty. Oh no! So that's Bailey to the back of the grid then as well. So, Icewind in a very vulnerable position as well. This thing stand, of course. So basically anybody with a time penalty right now is as near as damn it last. So we'll see how this unfolds. And Legend is not giving up despite that penalty. He's all over the back of his Aiken. He drives incredibly well with front wing damage. I'm sure we've seen this from him before in previous races. He's side by side going up the hill now. This is sketchy.
And as Aiken
he's made it stick.
Yeah, Aiken totally decided I'm out of it.
Oh, there's a huge crash with back row. As Aiken is sent firmly into the wall. Oh, I'm not sure if you caught that on the stream, but he was airborne for me there.
Yeah, I was on board with him and his car took off, yeah.
He has no damage though, is that desync?
I think...
As Aiken is still bumping his way around the chicane here, he doesn't have any damage.
Yeah, he's P6 though on my screen.
Yeah, he's P6 for me as well as we head into the tunnel now. That's very strange. He has no damage whatsoever. I wonder if there's a bit of desync going on there.
Yeah, I wonder, but back row is effectively leading this race as it stands right now. He's only got a few corners left. He's heading into sector 3. He's got a bunch of guys behind him, but I don't think there's going to be any overtaking spots. We saw the penultimate corner. Someone could send it up there, but That'll be pretty close. McKender actually, is McKender going to think about sending it? I mean, this is the last chance he can do
Close
so.
enough. He's close enough. So he's takes a slightly wider entry here, and hope that he gets a good run on him over the start finish straight. It's going to be tight. Legend crosses the line now. He will lose that position. Back row inherits the win. McKender comes in second, and Pretorius manages to get back up into third position there. That was unreal.
What a finish to that race. That was interesting to say the least, but as I can P4 to P4, P1 to P4 in just 2 laps. I would love to see that incident again though. Did you say back row running into the back of him? Yeah.
Something, I think the two went sideways into the corner, and the back row kind of interlocked wheels almost with the Zykin all the way up the hill there before squeezing the Zykin into the wall. The Zykin's car then kind of jumped up onto its side, which is a bit strange, but yeah, it's a very odd one there. So yeah, driver of the day. I mean, a couple guys here. I want to say McKender possibly. He's had 2 very consistent races there, first position and a second position finish, which puts him first overall in this weekend. Back row, of course, a very honourable mention there as well. But yeah, I don't know what you think, Chief, but I think it would be between McKender and back row for the driver of the day.
See, remember I had that idea where we had 2, you pick 1 from each, and then you amalgamate their names so you could have backender or macro.
Backender.
Macro.
I like macro. Macro's good.
But if I had to pick one, yeah, I don't know. It's a hard choice, but McKender. I mean,
Yeah.
P1 in the feature, P2 in the sprint race, and it wasn't easy either.
No.
Had to get a strategy right, and I don't think he picked up any front wing damage at all in either race.
I think he drove incredibly well. I think, yeah, I think McKender for driver of the day, and a massive honourable mention for back row as well. That's some phenomenal driving today.
Yeah, I'm sure he surprised himself with that win. It was like really down to the wire of that one.
Yep. Yeah, interesting to see some of the bigger names struggling in this race. Pretorius does manage to claw his way back up to third position in the sprint race there. Wonder if that's enough damage limitation to hang on to the championship lead there. But of course, that's going to get quite considerably tighter now. Having said that, Icewind obviously losing out a little bit in the sprint race there as well. He came in 7th, so that's going to allow his teammate McKender to push up the driver standings a little bit as well.
Yeah, back row as well, getting additional 4 points for getting fastest lap in each race.
That's a huge points haul for him then today.
Yeah, 29 points. Good job from back row. Is that an Australian flag I see, or am I getting my flags wrong?
I think so. Oh no, wait, no, it's not. Is it? Is it?
Is it? I don't know. There's like weird orange stuff on it.
It's New Zealand. Close.
It's same area, not really. Same country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, well, let's head over to the interview section. I think we've got Icewind, we've got Bailey, and Futuristic. So, what do you reckon? Okay, well, we've got Bailey in with us today. Hello, Bailey. Interesting sprint race there for me, but I mean, just tell us about your feature race. You had a good show in there. Oh yeah, that corner, yeah. I have no idea where that corner is. Oh, oh. Let me see if I can fix it. Let me fix it. Uh, just bear with me a second. Do 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 do. Okay. Right, yeah, we can hear you now. Sorry about that, Billy.
So to recap what I said, safety car bad, should have won first race, put on the wall by Legend second. Then the rest of the sprint race, the hairpin incident happened, where whoever's at the front just decided I'm gonna brake check everyone, and the whole of the top 7 got damaged. Icewind, I don't think Icewind had visual damage, but he definitely hit the back of me very hard. And I pitted under the safety car because I'm a reserve and I've got nothing to lose. And then I went for a very audacious move on the outside of Icewind, but it worked, so I don't care. And then coming into the chicane, the game decided to give me an instant 3-second time penalty instead of a warning. Although I didn't gain anything. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I think two yous cut the corner there as well, because I think Icewind ended up
Yeah,
breaking
Icewind.
himself and following you through there as well.
Icewind did, but he didn't get the penalty. So.
Yeah.
So basically, the
Strange.
game hates you, is what you're saying, Billy. Yeah.
I had such good pace. I just couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunate and frustrating couple of races there from you today. Then, but no, it was really good pace though. Like it was great to watch. We were saying during the stream that it was nice to see you returning to F2 and bashing him some pretty quick laps. Like so.
Yeah, I'm third in the world, so I'd like to be proud.
Nice.
Pemmy was. I was quite surprised by Pemmy because he's ahead of me in time trial, and I was quite surprised. Wasn't up there.
So what's he, number 2 in the world then?
Yeah, number 1 must have wall rider because they're a clean 7 tenths ahead of everyone else.
Tell me this here. I was kind of wondering in the race, like obviously it's a really tough track in F2 cars, Monaco, you get the walls everywhere, but if you've got a little bit of front wing damage, how much of an impact has that on your kind of approach to the race?
I would say light green damage costs about 2 tenths a lap. Something like that. And the damage after the hairpin, where it was the one before red, I was losing 1.5 seconds a lap.
Yikes.
To my normal pace. It's like, it's so impactful, if that's the right word. It has such a big impact, is what I'm trying to say. It's like, it's so stupid. It's so weird.
And with that performance, I mean, have you got a taste for F2 again, or are you going to come back, or was this just a one and done?
I don't know. Oh, when does the F2 season end? Give me a minute.
I can find that out
26th of June. So that's like... the new game's already out by Singapore. I might do the final race. But
no, full quali again, I think, in the final race when we reach Brazil. So
I'm not doing the final race.
I shouldn't have said anything.
I know. Well, let's see. I don't think I want an F2 seat back. I did it this week because I didn't have tier 1 this week, and I want to fill the race again with something else. It's enjoyable, to say the least.
Yeah, so no, great pace today, but yeah, a frustrating couple of incidents there. So commiserations for that. But yeah, as Chief says, great to see you back in F2 again.
Yep, great seeing the calls move. It's the first time you two have commentated together.
No, we've commentated together in a couple of F1 races before, and then I think towards the beginning of last season of F2 we were together before Eversnacks got involved. But unfortunately, he couldn't join us today, so yeah. Back to the old person duo again.
Here's a bit of SLR lore. I was the first one to do commentary with Boosted Mess. I popped his cherry.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I don't even know who I did commentary at the first time. It was like a year ago. So I have no idea.
Well,
Anyway,
yeah, we'll hear you back in comms this week. Tier 2, we're back
yep.
racing at Russia, so we'll look forward to that one. But for now, thanks for joining us in the commentary booth. We'll speak to you soon.
Yep.
Oh, whoops, I just threw it back in there but I'm gonna bring him back row, and yeah, I wonder if this guy's gonna be angry at me. Hey, back row, you're joining us in the commentary booth. Myself and Boosted Mess. Yeah, Boosted Mess was center. He didn't know what the flag was, but I was like, that's clearly New Zealand's flag, bro. Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah, so the Australian flag has got white stars and an extra one on the bottom left, whereas the New Zealand one has the 4 red stars at the top right,
See,
on the
Boosted,
right side.
that's what I said to you, wasn't it?
Clearly. I think the viewers would disagree.
It's still on videotape, damn it. But yeah, back row, you won the sprint race. I mean, was that a surprise to you? Because it was really down to that last lap.
It was kind of a redemption race for me because how am I going with this? Because obviously the guys who finished first in the first race are starting like 8th, 7th, 6th. So I was starting 4th, which meant I could get away from them and hope that they were held up behind me. And I think the first race went. I was second out of the people who started on soft, so which is kind of a good place to be because that safety car absolutely ruined me and Bailey and whoever else started on softs.
Yeah, it did look a bit tricky out there today with the safety cars coming out, and yeah, a few times actually safety car came out, and I almost wondered why. It was just a minor tap and a spin, and the safety car was back out again. It seemed to impact quite a few people's races, unfortunately, but yeah, you seem to really benefit quite nicely off of it, actually, to be fair.
I think someone got a drive through as well, so cheeky
Yeah.
little position there.
Gifted. But yeah, no, it was some close racing today, and yeah, it was great to see some pace. Yeah, it's definitely some elbows out in some places, but yeah, some good moves, and yeah, phenomenal to see like say the tight racing and all the strategy that was being involved in that today. How did you find the qualifying at the start there, the full length qualifying as opposed to the one shot?
There's kind of no point in it. I mean, there is point in it. If it was like 10 minutes of qualifying, that would be better. Obviously, you can't do that because of game limitation. But you're just sat there for the first 20 minutes, not really doing anything, waiting for the track to rubber in. Then the final 10 minutes, everyone's out. So
yeah, we did see a few of you guys went out on wets. Was that just for lols, or was that? I mean, Chief suggested that could be for like an esports move, trying to rubber the track in a bit more for the last sort of closing few minutes of the session. But
yeah, so I did do that, and it was more just to put a time on the board than anything else. I mean, yes, it rubbers in the track as well.
I guess
yeah,
saving
'cause
your
obviously-
best set to last, then I suppose.
Yeah, because thing is, you only have 2 sets of each compound, and you need to use the 2 softs in the 2 races, and you need to use the super soft in the first race. So if you use anything, use anything more than the super soft in the qualifying, you're then using used tires in the race.
That makes sense then. Yeah, that explains that. But yeah, no, I'd probably agree with you to a degree. It'd be nice if there was a qualifying option that was maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes long or something like that.
But on the other side, one shot, if you mess up a corner, that's it. You're at the back. Whereas 10 minutes gives you like 2-3 laps to just get it right.
Definitely. I mean, from a commentary point of view, it's one shot can be a bit tricky as well because we've got a habit of mistiming the intros and whatnot, and then we end up missing the first half of the lap. And of course, we can only watch one person at a time as well. So yeah, it can be a bit tricky sometimes, but yeah, no, I think it brings an interesting dynamic to sort of switch up between the two now and again. yeah, I think it's one of those sort of Marmite things. Some people prefer having the multiple chances at it, whereas other people, like what you're saying there, can find it a bit tedious to begin with. But yeah, no, yeah, good race. Bit tricky out there, but yeah, it looked like you had good pace, and congratulations on your sprint race victory. It was well deserved, and almost driver of the day, but certainly
yeah.
big honourable mention there.
There were no safety cars then, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. But
Alright.
no, well raced, and yeah, good to see you driving today.
Thank
So
you very
well
much.
done.
Yep, and thanks for educating us on the difference between. Oh, he's gone. But yeah.
Sorry, I've already moved him out. My bad.
I was going to say, no, I know the difference between an Australian and New Zealand flag, but yeah, I think next we'll bring in Browind, otherwise known as Icewind. Icewind, great first race from you. There was that penalty, but McKender let you by. Was that, like, did he let you by, or was that, was that team orders as such?
Yeah, thanks first of all. I mean, the first race was a bit crazy, but yeah, I think he let me by because he had wing damage, but he probably didn't realize I had wing damage as well. And I wasn't like super quick, but I kind of felt like I was quick enough to keep Joel and Bailey at bay, and that was kind of my only plan there. I would have actually probably just let him win because he let me past like that, but he ended up winning anyway, so that's all right because I had that penalty, so I didn't want to take any risks against those guys behind me. So
yeah, and for the team, it was maximum points then, P1, P2 in that feature race, which is great.
Yeah, and I don't know if you caught it on stream, but like I was a minute down. What was it? Second lap or whatever. Whenever that first safety car was, this Joel put it in the wall at Tabak, and his car like bounced out of the wall and took me out as well. And I was like pointing the wrong way at Tabak. I had to pit, get a new front wing, but there was that safety car. So at least I caught up back to the pack, and I was like, well, hopefully I can get some points because everybody who started on the softs would still have to pit, and they would definitely be behind me. And then just safety cars kept rolling in, and again, and then I was just suddenly after that one restart, there was like a massive pileup at the hairpin, and I just sort of went on the inside and passed 4 cars or whatever, and suddenly I was like, oh what? I'm actually behind McKender here. And yeah, then I tapped the wall at Tabak and picked up that yellow wing damage myself, but like, yeah, I sort of when McKender let me past, I actually didn't even realize that I was leading the race for like 3 laps or something, and then at some point on the main straight, I was like, wait, I'm leading. So it was a bit of a crazy race, the first one. But yeah, very happy for the team. So that's our. I don't know if I should be saying this loud, but that's of course our goal to try to win the team championship here. So.
Yeah, we saw that during the race. It kind of, you seem to manage to capitalize on Pretorius' misfortune. Pretorius, of course, leading the driver championship at the minute by I think about 20 points or thereabouts. So that gap will have closed quite considerably today after the points haul from yourself and McKender there, which is really good for you guys. And it was excellent seeing the strategy kind of calls there between the pair of you as well, despite not being in VC with one another, of course. But
it was a lot of an interesting race, and of course misfortune for Pretorius today. So he was quite unlucky with the disconnect, and I think he then crashed on his own as well and stuff. So yeah, even he is human, I guess. So.
Yeah.
I mean, my personal feeling at least at this point is that I'm not really even thinking about the driver championship. Just trying to work for the team and gather points with McKender. That seems to be working pretty well. Yeah. Can I just say something quickly about the second race? Because I don't know what's that caught on stream, but I'm all for hard racing and like sending it on the inside and stuff. But if you send it on the inside, you have to make sure you don't put the other car on the outside to the wall, which happened to me twice in that race, and I'm really not happy about that at all. But just because I won another race earlier today and then the first one went so well, I'm not gonna, go off about it today. So yeah, it's probably gonna report it though, because that was a bit unfair in my opinion. That if you really send it on the inside like that, you can't just put the car on the outside into the wall.
Yeah, there was a couple of sort of tight elbows out kind of moves being made into the hairpin in particular. We saw a lot of people kind of getting tangled up with one another and stuck in such a way that one car ends up being T-boned, and it was causing a bit of havoc.
Yeah, and I'm all for hard racing and like sending it sometimes and stuff. But if you send it on a track like this, you have to make sure you don't put the other car into the wall. Because if I'm on the outside into the right-hander after the hairpin, I can't quite remember what the turn number is or name of that corner is. But anyway, if I'm on the outside there, and somebody sends it on the inside, I have nowhere to go. So if you do that, that's fine. But you have to make sure you don't put me in the wall in the process. And I think that has to be said. So that's I ended up getting the driver in question in the end anyway. So but I feel like I would have probably been able to get legend as well if I didn't have Red Wing the last 1.5 laps.
Yeah, it's a bit of tough racing at the end there, but yeah, unfortunate for you in the sprint race.
It's because I basically lost only one position there. I think I'm not gonna go off too much about it, but it's just not too happy with the kind of the way of that overtake was made. But yeah,
understandable, definitely. But yeah, no. So yeah, tricky second race there, but yeah, a very good feature race from, as you say, from yourself and Makendo there, and a really nice haul of points for yourself and for the team there. So yeah, congratulations for that.
Both of us got some points in the second race as well, even if all that misfortune. So yeah, I'll live.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us in the commentary booth, man, and we'll see you for the next one.
Yeah, I maybe just to put it one closing word from me on the stream that I don't know if we had another race with 30-minute qualifying, I would rethink that if I were the F2 staff, just as a comment, because I don't know if should I be saying this on the stream, but I'm sort of all for openness and stuff. Probably why nobody really went out, as you saw for the first 20 minutes, is that because if you scrub those softs, you're actually scrubbing your sprint race tires, and that's kind of why nobody really wanted to go out for the first 20 minutes, or you saw people going on the wets and whatever else. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know, just maybe rethink that decision, because it would be nice if we were able to configure that to 10 minutes or something instead of 30, because that was a bit, from my side at least, a bit silly. Maybe I'm being
no, I mean like for
open, but just sort of put it out and why everybody was dicking around on those weird tires at the start.
From a commentator's point of view, though, we were surprised at how many drivers were not going out at all, and then we saw the wet tire runs from people, and we were just thinking, okay.
Yeah, it's because the system is so that when you use you have like 2 sets of tires only for qualifying. So you have those from Monaco. Well, anyway, let's talk about harder and softer compound. So if you run that harder compound at all, you're basically scrubbing the set that you're going to use for your sprint race, and that's kind of detrimental, right? So that's why everybody just went out with last 10 minutes on those softer compounds. So yeah, just to put it out there. I know, of course, you guys know me. I don't mean to be a dick, but just wanted to put it out there.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, it gives us food for thought anyway. At least we've tried it now, but yeah, we will see you soon, I'm sure, in some form on track or also on comms or somewhere about. But thanks for joining us on the commentary booth, Ice. Appreciate it.
Not here next Friday.
Let's go. Last but not least, boosted. It's the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend, karaoke leader, futuristic. Sing us a song, man. What, like if there's a song that incorporates how your race went today, or your 2 races, what would it be?
Bad with Michael Jackson.
It's gonna be that Crimea River song.
Oh, yeah, that would work as well.
Yeah. So just relive the whole experience, you know. Now that we've got you here in the commentary booth.
Nah, I'm not feeling it. It's
Oh,
just the shit show.
okay. So you don't want an interview? Is that what you're saying? Because I just saw you in an interview booth and I was like, right, let's
Well,
go.
I'm here, so I can take one, but
Take one for the team. Yeah. So I mean, you know, what was your experience today? Obviously not a good one, but what went wrong?
they did everything. Got turned in the feature race, and yeah, the sprint race was just try to survive with not the outcome that I wanted. So I got wing damage out of. I think I hit the chicane after a tunnel, the wall on the inside. Got wing damage and wanted to pit. And I got understeer out of Raskas right before the pit entry, and my car slided across the track and hit the left side of the pit entry wall, and the front left tire went.
We did see that actually, and it reset you on the track, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. I'm looking at the results, and you had P2 in that last race in what was that, Hungary, or was it Italy?
Monza.
Italy,
Monza,
Monza
yeah.
it was, I think.
I need to learn my flags. I really do. You think I'd be alright at playing all that GeoGuessr, but obviously not. Yeah, you had P7, P2 in Italy, so yeah, Monaco. It's a tough race. It can go either way really. So it's unfortunate this didn't work out for you today. But I believe the next race we got coming up is Baku. Is that right?
Yep.
Another street circuit. How are you feeling about that one?
I reckon it will be a DRS train, and it will be a bit easier to overtake on the main straight, but most of it will be a DRS train unless you really outbrake someone that I did in here after a tunnel. But other than that, nah, nothing. It's just another city circuit which is complete shit in F2 cars.
Okay, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Futuristic has made a bold claim he's going to win Baku both races and get fastest lap and driver of the day.
Yeah, watch out, Pretorius.
If that comes true now, I want to be like, you know, hailed as a prophet or something. Okay.
Yeah, if I win one of the races in Baku, I promise I will sing in the interview.
There we go.
Hey, okay, I'm holding you to that.
So if any driver wants to hear me sing, hey, you know what to do. I'm in a Prima.
This is going to be great for EGL view count. It's going to go through the roof. Going to be in trending and everything. So hopefully get a taste of victory in Baku then. But until then, man, I will throw you back in the interview booth. Thanks for joining us in the commentary booth. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
There we go, boosted. So that was fun. Something different anyway for me anyway.
Yeah, it's quite exciting. The F2 cars, I find all the races seem to be quite action packed, just because there's the lack of laps, of course, to get the job done. So everybody feels an extra bit of pressure to get on with it, so to speak. So yeah, we always see quite an action packed F2 races. It's great fun to watch, and yeah, great to be commentating with you again as well.
Yep, I enjoyed it. It was good stuff. And we do have Russia next week for both 2SRL and SLR back to business. But before that, tomorrow we've got an event hopefully taking place around about, I think it's around about 20:30 CST. It's going to be the SLR Nana tier, the no assist, no aliens tier, up against Swedish Racing League, 10 versus 10, no assist, 50% race at France, with full quali, which is going to be very interesting. And myself and Boosted hopefully will be taking part in that one. So, yeah, that's the one to look out for. But as I say, business as usual next week. Back to, I was going to say France, I wish, Russia. So keep an eye out for that. But thanks everyone for watching, and Boosted, yep, enjoyable as always. We'll speak to you again soon, guys. Thanks.
Yep. Take it easy, guys. Have a good evening.